evening, New Song. This is Miss Louise, and it's time for our story. I gave you a break over the weekend. Today, I'm showing you two words that you're going to hear from the story I'm reading today. The first word says dawn, and the second word says dusk. Not dust, dusk. Okay? They both begin with the letter D, right? And they both have to do with time. Dawn is when it's the first sign of daylight. So I drew a little sun and some clouds. And dusk, with a sk at the end, is the in-between time when the day is leaving and the night is approaching. So it looks like it's a little dark but still a little light outside. And it's letting you know that night is coming. So we're going to hear a really silly story today. And I want you to listen for these words, dawn and dusk. Usually they do that for the parks. Like the parks are open from dawn to dusk. From early morning until you see that it's time where the sun is going down and you see where it's beginning to look a little dark, then that's time for you to leave the park. But this is a real silly story that has a lot of rhyming words in it. So I want you to listen. It's really silly. It'll probably give you a couple of laughs. But here's the title. Mrs. McNosh hangs up her wash. And as we do our picture clues, we see that she's probably washed some clothes long time ago before they had dryers, and some people who don't have dryers in their home would put up a clothesline. And these are clothespins that you see. And they would hang their wet clothes up on the line, and the sun and the wind would dry the clothes for them. And so that's what Mrs. McNosh is doing. She's hanging up her wash. And this story is written by Sarah Weeks. And the illustrator is Nadine Bernard Westcott. All right, here we go. Listen for the rhyming words. And also listen for those two words, dawn and dusk. Mrs. McNosh hangs up her wash. Whoa, look. The birds are out. Looks like it's a nice day. What are those pink things? Bubbles. She's washing in a tub. This is called a washboard. When you didn't have a washing machine, you would scrub your clothes. And she has all her other clothes waiting there patiently. Each Monday at dawn, Mrs. Nellie McNosh brings out a barrel and does a big wash. So that's a barrel. So we heard that word dawn. So that means it's the beginning of daylight, early in the morning. Picture clues. Look at what she's hanging. It takes her all morning. And when the sun's high, she hangs what she's washed on the clothesline to dry. So the two rhyming words, high and dry. Notice they don't have the same ending, but they still sound alike at the end. Because this high has an I sound at the end, and this Y gives the long I sound. Okay, let's look at Miss McNosh. She hangs up the dresses. She hangs up the shirts. She hangs up the underwear, nightgowns, and skirts. Okay, she's hanging all of those. So shirts and skirts. This is still in the morning at dawn. Let's look and see what she's hanging. Oh my goodness. She hangs up the stockings. She hangs up the shoes. She wrings out the paper and hangs up the news. Really? Can you really hang up the news? The newspaper. What happens when you wet paper? You have to be very careful because it will tear. But this is just a nice, silly story. She's wringing out the news, wringing out the paper, and she's hanging up the news. Oh my goodness, look at what she hung up this time. She hangs up the dog and his dish and his bone. She gets a wrong number and hangs up the phone. Really, Miss McNosh? But listen to that. Hangs up the phone. You know how they say you hang up on people? Like a metaphor. We'll talk about that another time. Oh my goodness. The phone is hanging. What's that beside it? What's that beautiful dress? I wonder. What is that she's hanging up now? Let's see. She hangs up a hat and an old wedding gown and 2 sleepy bats, which she hangs upside down. So bat, and hat. See? Bats and hats. Still morning, probably going into mid-morning now. She hangs up a lamp and a large Christmas wreath and Grandpa McNosh's removable teeth. False teeth. She hung up false teeth. I wonder if Grandpa's looking for those. Silly story. Oh my goodness, who's that? Who do you think it is? Take a guess. Look at it. Look what she's putting up now. She's hanging up. She hangs up a kite by the tip of its tail. The postman arrives and she hangs up the mail. Miss McNosh. Really, Miss McNosh. Okay, let's look now. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Have you ever hung clothes before? This is way beyond clothes. She hangs till she's hung every last thing in sight, including the turkey she's roasting that night. Sight and night. Each Monday by dusk. Ooh, so now it's beginning to get a little dark. Miss Nellie McNosh has finally hung up the last of her wash. It's getting dark now. What is she doing now? Well, she dumped out the barrel. She takes off her apron and lets down her hair, then hangs herself up. What do you think she's going to do? Let's see. In a comfortable chair. She even hung herself up. Really? The end. Mrs. McNosh hangs up her wash. Remember, if someone says it's time for you to wake up at dawn, that's very early in the morning. Or they may say you're going to bed by dusk. That means just before it gets dark. Okay? So, New Song students, that's my story for today. It was nice reading to you. Remember that words can rhyme, sound alike, and I want you to stay safe. Remember to wash your hands. And get out and hang some wash, like Mrs. McNosh.